That's me, that handsome guy there, apparently. Yeah? Looks the same. The one in the corner, another one there. That was me a couple of months ago in my afro. No, I'm joking. It's a bother to get through doors. Or security. Everybody had a good conference so far? Learned stuff? Interesting? Not so interesting? Exciting times ahead, hey? I think so. Put a hand up, who likes technology? Who likes technology? Okay, because you haven't got your hands up, then what are you doing here? Just kidding. Do a straw poll quickly. I like doing this wherever I go. Who has not got a smartphone? Like a Nokia 1010 that lasts for a week. It does phone calls and SMSs. That's it. Psst. No one. So everybody's using a smartphone. Okay, who's got 2 smartphones? It's good. 3? Anyone got 3? Any takers? You got one in the back there with 3. Why have you got 3 smartphones? Don't worry, we still go. No one's beaten my record yet. Anyone want to take a guess where I had a record? No, close, but not quite. What do you do with 7 mobile phones? Lots of girlfriends, different wives. Yeah. So the best I've ever had was Lagos and that was 6. Keeps in a little bag. This man wants to talk to me. A short announcement about a car. Go for it.
Sorry about that. The owner of a Ford Cougar N160-17100. It's a white Ford Cougar. Could you please step outside? There happens to be a bit of an issue with your car. It's a Ford Cougar N160-171. Apologies for making your innovation.
It's okay. Is the Cougar still there?
Thank you.
It is for now. It won't be there in 5 minutes. Right, sorry. Where were we? 6 mobile phones. So it just tells you that we rely very heavily on technology in today's modern world. Is that correct? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to talk about innovation never stands still. Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Julian Pino, and I represent Lenovo across this wonderful continent. I'm an African. I was born in a place called Springs near Johannesburg. I have a bed in Johannesburg that I sleep in occasionally. And I travel, as I mentioned, quite a lot. And I like to talk about technology and how technology changes our lives. I'm going to talk a little bit about Lenovo, some of the cool, exciting products that we've got coming down the line. Some really exciting stuff that we have here today. Some little tablets. We've got, what else have we got here? We've got PCs. We've got 2-in-1s, and we've got a couple of other things that are really cool. So I just want to start off with a little video that we believe is almost our motto, that innovation stands still, we never stand still, and I hope you enjoy the show. Thank you very much.
Get up, get an idea, get a plan, get knocked down, get over it, get up again. Lose sleep, lose your mind, lose your heart, lose control, lose yourself. Try this, try that, try harder, try it on, try different, try the impossible. Push up, push on, push the boundaries, push the button, push yourself, push the limits. You can do more, go further, go faster, be one step ahead. Just never stand still.
Okay, so that just shows you a little bit what we're about, never standing still, and how technology never stands still. I mean, if you buy a phone today, it'll be outdated when? Tomorrow, maybe the next day, at least a month from now. You know, that is the rapid race of technology. I remember being around in the early 90s trying to keep up with cell phone technology. I've maintained my same cell phone number, believe it or not, since 1995. My wife still thinks that my number's attached to every single machine that we sell because I'm always there for the technical help, but it's not true. And I remember the good old days when you could almost keep up with cell phone technology, you know, because they only brought them out once a year. And then brands that were bringing out phones once a year don't even exist anymore. Who's got a Nokia? Anybody got a Nokia? Just checking. Anybody got a BlackBerry? Remember them? Hey? Best business phone ever. They've stopped manufacturing phones now as well. Yeah, believe it or not. I'm not going to talk about the other brands right now. Anybody got a Motorola? Did anybody have a Motorola? Motorola in the past. I remember Motorola in the past. You could use it as a self-defense tool. Extended battery will give you at least another hour's use, right? But it would be like this big, so you can use it as a phone and a self-defense tool. Very handy. The good news is Motorola's back. Got one in my pocket here somewhere. There they are. A little bit better, a little bit nicer. How cool is that, eh? The good news is we're going to be launching Motorola again in November in Namibia. And I was just speaking to my colleague before I came here just to get the nitty-gritty. And the models that I'll be showing today will be available in November. So ready for the December rush. Hold yourselves back. So if you're looking for an upgrade, I know some people were looking for a Note 7. Good news, bad news. So yeah, I'm going to talk about a little bit of who we are, the new Lenovo, our results, just where we are and what we like to do in the regions, and obviously just focus on a little bit on technology. So who are we? We are a global technology company. We don't just make laptops and desktops. We acquired a number of new companies 2 years ago. One of them was Motorola, and the other one was the IBM server division, the x86 X series server division, which is doing really, really well at the moment. So we are leaders with 45 billion in sales. We've got about 55,000 people. Believe it or not, we've only got about 100, actually it's less than 100 people on this continent. When I started in 2005, we were less than 40. That's not a lot, eh? We're only about 60, 70, so we use our channel partners. So we're a very lean organization. That's not a lot of people, but we're available in 160 countries. We're number 202 in the top 500 companies, the global 500. That's pretty cool. And they're busy releasing the new ones now for next year. The next one is actually just a very interesting one. You can see how we've gone over the years, 2012, 2013, 2014. We've come up that list quite a lot, and it's just cut off at the end there. But in 2015, we were 231. That's pretty cool. Another thing is we're into brands 100 leading companies. And 2 days ago, we were announced once again as one of the top 100 companies to work for in the world. Now, I'm very proud of that because we pretty much started from a base that was non-existent. And we've grown that base over the years to become the leader that we are in electronics. So these are some of the acquisitions and partnerships that we've had over the year. And the challenge was I was with IBM from 1996, giving my age away now. And literally in 2004, when I moved from the services division to the PC marketing division, we had this meeting to say, listen, we've been sold to the Chinese, a company called Lenovo. And nobody had heard of them at that stage. Small, young company started in 1984, but they've taken that country to new heights. We're number one in that country in PCs. Smartphones, we're probably number 1 or 2 as well. Tablets, number 1 or 2. They've done phenomenal things in that country. But now we're a global company. We've got 2 headquarters. One in China, one in the USA. People say, why do you have 2 headquarters? Well, the business runs 365. So as the sun is shining, we can manage that business. So if you're a business owner, wouldn't it be lovely if you could manage your business 24/7? No downtime whatsoever. Just carries on going. That's the benefit behind having that as well. So we've obviously partnered with Stoneware. We bought System X and Motorola in the same time. And that was at the end of the beginning of 2015. So we have a vision, and this is a vision that I believe is pretty cool, that we want to make life better. We want to work more efficiently by delivering smart end-user devices, powerful infrastructure with connected services, apps, and the best user experience ever. So, going back to mobile phones, is this just a mobile phone? No. Who actually phones people these days? I just want to find out, because everybody's sitting going. That's how people do business. Who's not on WhatsApp? Eh? Everybody's on it, right? Because it's an easy way to communicate. Nobody sends text messages anymore. Nobody makes phone calls anymore. I mean, they're getting these plans now, unlimited calling. Who are you going to call? Because people don't, they send their phones. But not only is your phone used for communication, it's your wallet. Is anybody using SnapScan or heard of SnapScan? So SnapScan is a very cool technology where you got a little QR code and you go, I just bought something. So it's your wallet. Okay? There's two very controversial services taking over the world at the moment. What's one of them? Starts with U and ends in burr. Uber. Hey? Biggest taxi company around the world. They don't even own a single car. How does that work? Hey? Airbnb. Has anybody heard of Airbnb? Biggest hotel chain worldwide. Guess what? They don't own a single piece of property. How's it managed? This fantastic tool. So this is no longer just a mobile phone. It's the world of information in your hands. It is communication, although people don't use it. Who's got email on their phone? You know, and people say, "Oh, sorry, I wasn't reachable at that time." You know, did you get my email? Oh, well, you know, your phone's in your hand. Oh, I got your email. You know, so you're always contactable. However, there's still mess up in communication between companies these days. Well, I'm sorry, we just didn't do it. We've got so many means and methods and ways of communicating with each other. Who's still got a fax machine? Anybody? There's one at the back. There's always one. It's good. You and my dad must get together and send faxes, because I think he's the only other person I know that's still got a fax machine. So moving forward. Okay, so who knows this guy over here? Eh? Good. Who's the guy next to him? Oh, we don't know that guy. We don't know that guy. That is our CEO and chairman, Mr. Yang Ching Yang. And that is Ashton Kutcher, correct. And this is a device called a Motorola. It's the Moto Z. And that's coming to Namibia very soon. I'm excited about it because, you see, he's got the phone, and Ashton has got what they call one of the mods. The back cover comes off, and you can put on a phone battery. You can put on a JBL speaker. You can put on a Leica camera. You can put on a Pico projector. So that's your office in your hand. You can go and do presentations in boardrooms. That's all you need. Mobile phone, changing the world. And the world is changing, okay? Very much so. And it's the rapid pace of change. And a lot of people are saying, well, hang on a second, we're trying to get onto this. So we need to slow things down a little bit to try and get onto the technology chain. We've got a strategy. And this is the basic running of our company and how we do it. We've simply got a strategy driven by opportunities and those things. So we want to strengthen our PC business. We want to attack and be a changer in the mobile business and obviously in our data center and cloud. Now, Ed spoke about data center and cloud yesterday, the invisible data center, and our hyperconvergence is taking over the world at a rapid pace as well. Because all these devices that we've got, what do? What do these devices do? They generate data. They generate information. Also, earlier today, we heard about things about the Internet of Things. How much information is being generated from IoT? Imagine everybody in this room having 14 SIM cards, managing your cell phone, your car, your washing machine, your fridge. What other devices? Your alarm system, your sprinkler system, your camera system. The amount of information that's being generated on a daily basis. So storage is becoming a big thing. But everybody wants to go back into one rack, because when does everybody want their information? Yesterday. They don't want it now. When you go to the Google search button, you go, chuk, 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 chuk. Does it give it to you in a day? Does it give it to you in a minute? Or does it give it into you 0.015765 seconds? Hey? And Google as well, it knows what you're searching for. You start typing, tick, tick, well, it knows what I'm looking for. Why does it do that? Because other people have looked for it before. And it just remembers, and you go, well, there must be an answer to this. You know? So you're just typing away. Where's all this information kept? On servers. So that is why hyperconvergence is a very important play in the market today. So Time says one of the greatest business stories in 10 years. I mean, we're a young company, 1984. You think about companies that have come and gone. Nokia, one of them. BlackBerry, another one. How many more other companies? They reckon the big brands like IBM and that won't all cease to exist in 10 years' time because they're just not keeping up with that trend and change in technology. We've done really well. And I was talking about devices, everything from smart watches, phones, phablets, tablets, two-in-ones, convertibles, tabletop PCs, all-in-ones, and powerful servers. These are the devices that generate all the information. So the new cool thing is the two-in-one. I'm just going to use my hands-free for a second. Hands-free. The two-in-one market has become revolutionary because people bought tablets a couple of years ago. Who rushed out and bought a tablet? You can put your hands up just a little bit if you want to. I'll just see. That's it. Where are those tablets today? On the shelf. Given to your brother's, sister's, cousin's child, you know. Gathering dust somewhere, it's broken, don't charge it and everything. So people have gone back to PCs and they've gone back to convertible PCs now. Because two-in-one is very cool. So I'm just going to put that over there. Don't worry, I'm a professional. So the two-in-one is your conventional notebook, but it's also your tablet. Oh, that's very cool. That's a cool trick, eh? Very cool. And with these, obviously, come the security that is required. So with it, you'd be given a little stylus in the top here, and you can get your signatures, your own handwriting on the device, send it, email it, done. And then what we know most is we go back to the tablet mode or the PC mode, because that's what we know. This is what people know. Another thing about in Africa, and I've noticed that, is that there's a generation that don't even know what the PC is. Why? This is the first device that they saw, a Nokia 1010. They can send people SMSs. They can send people money using services like M-Pesa and things like that. This is what they know. And that is why this market is very, very important. And as I mentioned as well over here, there's all the servers that you can now store all of this information on in a hyper-converged space, backed up. Very cool. So, just looking at the Lenovo business as well, we lead the way in PCs. We're actually number one in Namibia as well. We're number one worldwide. We're number one in South Africa. And where we go with our PC business, we win. Because we like to keep things open. We keep things promising. You know, there's no hiding behind things. And we like to win business together with our partners and make sure that our customers are all happy. So number one, global PCs, number worldwide. Number one in consumer PCs, desktop, and number two in commercial PC. In terms of our multi-mode PCs, did you know that Lenovo ships more than 50% of the world's convertibles, or two-in-ones? By 2017, which is like, what, 3 months away? 2.5 if you count today. You know, this year's like flown by. By the end of 2017, 70% of all notebooks shipped will be a convertible type. Simply because people like the form factor. Smartphones, that's the Moto Z, by the way. You can see it's got a very cool JBL speaker with its mods. And these will all be coming out in November, December timeframe, being launched here in Namibia. It's exciting times because it really is a game changer in the mobile market. So our tablets. We've also designed a thing called the Fab 2 Pro with Tango. Has anybody heard of Tango? And it's not the, you know, no, it's not that. Tango is a device that helps with augmented reality. Has anybody heard of AR, augmented reality? We've heard of VR, right? Virtual reality. That's when you put on those goggles and you're going, and you think you're going to fall off a stage, but you don't really fall off a stage. Okay? Now, augmented reality is very similar. Is whereby you take a device with a camera, and I hold it up in the room, and all of a sudden I can make this room look full because there's now people in those seats. That is augmented reality. Anybody play Pokemon Go? Yeah? Anybody heard of Pokemon Go in the first place? You know, when you're looking for these crazy creatures in your phone, you're looking like, oh, there's one! And you try and do stuff with it. But it's not there, right? So Tango is a little bit more helpful than looking for Pokemon because what it does is it takes three-dimensional space. What's the easiest way to measure this stage? I say I want to measure this stage. What do? I get a tape measure, right? However, with Tango, I would simply stand over here, go there, beginning point, that point, that point, that point. Now I've measured it. Done. It'll give me the square meterage. It'll give me how many tiles I need to cover the space, all of that. If I want to put a chair over there, I can bring a chair, drop and drag a chair into the space. Oh, that chair will look nice. Have you ever done designing when you're at home and you say, yeah, I need a new chair, and you look there, and then what do? You go to the shops, right? Do you measure that chair? You get home and you go, doesn't even fit through the door. Okay? So now with Tango and things like that, you'd be able to go online shopping, say, oh, that chair looks nice. Drop it into the app, sit in your room, go, oh, there it is. Isn't that fantastic? You'd be able to now design everything pretty much virtually on your tablet device. And that's a project that we did with Google as well. Another thing we're looking at is obviously is Lenovo in the data center. We're number one in China. Our integration is complete. And we're focusing now on obviously driving the hyper-converged space. For those of you who don't know what hyperconvergence is when you're taking your storage, your networking, and putting it into a single rack once again. The traditional method of storage was one server, one application, right? You had a print server, you had a file server, you had a database server, application server. Now with virtualization, you put it all into one. And what you do is you put all the storage back into that box as well. But with that storage, what you do is you compress it. So for the average amount of disks, you normally use 4 disks, you'd only be using 1 disk. So you can already see where the saving in the future will be. Because what are people doing now for storage? They're buying more disks. And all you're doing is adding on another rack. More disks. Whereas you can put everything into a single rack. Because when do we want it? We want it yesterday. So all of that is around speed, performance. You don't want to run a query and go, okay, guys, I'll see you tomorrow. I've just run my query. It's only going to give me an answer tomorrow. Businesses can't run like that. You'd be out of business before you even started. And that is where hyperconvergence plays a very, very important place as well. Another really cool thing is that we've actually started an incubator for entrepreneurs. People that have got an idea that will work. In fact, with the Motorola mods, if you can think of a really good mod for a phone, I've heard people doing fingerprint readers and breathalyzers and pH meters and all of that really cool stuff. What would be a really cool mod in your day life that you use every day that you can put on the back of your mobile phone? What would be an interesting device? Your car keys. That's cool. Imagine if you can access your car without the keys. Somebody lost keys earlier, I heard. Right? Why would you need car keys if you've got keyless access? So there's a developer mod where you can actually go and sign up as a developer. They will give you the code for the phone, and you can develop a mod. If they like the mod, you make the prototype and it sells, guess what? It's a business. You run it. and it takes off from there. And that is what the world is about now. The traditional jobs, you know. Anybody work from home? Anybody work from home? Okay. It's a huge benefit, but it's difficult if you're not disciplined, because there's always the TV over there. There's always the fridge with the beers in over there. Yeah, you're saying, and every time you walk past it with a cup of coffee, they go, what? You know? So it's hard, but the benefits, you get a lot more done. Corporations need to look at expanding. I mean, traffic. I hate traffic. Who sits in traffic for a long time every day? I know it's not always that busy, but sometimes there's a crash and you just got to sit there and there's nothing you can do. Imagine you can get so much more done in that time. Wouldn't that be great? So working from home is a benefit, and corporations are looking at that simply because of space saving and downsizing and this thing called budgets. Very important. So just a couple of results of what we did. As I mentioned before, we're number 1 worldwide. In a shrinking economy, in South Africa alone, the market is now only about 340,000 PCs a quarter. It used to be 400. 400,000 PCs. Imagine that. Worldwide, it's millions, obviously. But in a shrinking economy, you can see over there how we've been number 1 for 3 years now. We set a goal in 2010. We said we'd do it in 5 years, we did it in 3. So they were focused on it. And we've had 29 quarters of outgrowing the PC market in a shrinking market. Where everybody else is splitting up, we're getting everything back together. Things are definitely changing. There's this thing called disruption. Has anybody heard that word? Disruption. Eh? Who likes being disrupted? Nobody. It's uncomfortable, you know. It's like you come back and you've got an office desk and you come there and somebody's sitting in your desk. And you go, well, this is mine. They said, I didn't see your name on it. You know, the hot desk principle. Everybody thinks you own the desk, but you don't. You're just there to use it and timeshare it, you know. And this thing called disruption is taking over. That is where the Ubers, the Airbnbs are taking over that space. Because the taxi drivers are getting very upset, saying, hey, hang on a second. I've been in this market for 15 years, and here comes this guy in his little Toyota Corolla, and he's like doing more business than me all of a sudden. When you're calling people instead of standing waiting, very different. So disruption is becoming more and more common. Number 1 for 3 straight years, as I mentioned as well. I've been talking now for a little over what? 25 minutes? Right? Does anybody want to do the maths for me? Because I'm not very strong after lunch with maths. So we sell a device. Actually, we lie. We sell every 1 second, we sell 4 devices. So it's 4 times 60 times 25. Who's got a calculator? My maths teacher says you'll never always have a calculator on you. Take out your phone. Showed her, you know. 6,000 devices have been sold while I've been standing here. Isn't that cool? And I think we're closer to 5 now. They said 4.5, but how do you sell half a device? Here's your phone. You could have this half, you know. Well, just give me the working half at least. And finally, we obviously prepare for the future. We've got 4 different business divisions. We've got PC and smart devices, our tablets, our general business. We've got our mobile business group, our data center group, and of course, our Lenovo Capital and Incubator group. And all of these teams work together to make sure that we can deliver the best devices that last a long, long time. That's the one thing in corporates today. They want a device, they want it cheap, and they want it to last for at least 5 years, right? Yeah, 5 years. But does that actually happen? If you look after it, no problem at all. So that's why we build them a little bit more heavier. And for those of you who joined me earlier for my breakaway session, we just showed you how you can benefit from Think products in the enterprise because of the warranties that we're able to offer up to 5 years on the product. So that is all from me. I hope you've enjoyed the session. If you have any questions or queries about what I've spoken today and where we're moving in the technology chain, I'll be at our stand next door. You're welcome to come and join us. We'll also be here tomorrow. I believe we've got some students from the universities also joining us tomorrow. And I'm a follower of technology in many different ways. So I love technology. I hope that technology can change your life and make it work for the better. Enjoy the rest of the afternoon. I hope you've enjoyed the session. Take care, and we'll see you all soon. Thank you very much. Goodbye.
Are you taking everything?
Oh, sorry, man. It's one of
Dear.
those things.
Wow. I thought it was 4 every second. He's taking all 4 of them now. All right. Thank you very much, Mr. Pinot.
Thank you very much.
Very innovative. As you can obviously tell by right now, innovation does not stand still. Let's give Mr. Pinot another round of applause. For those of us who have received the questionnaires, if you could please try and pass them to the middle so that it will be easier for us to collect them. However, moving on, we're going to have a representative from Green Enterprises, Mr. Lawrence Mutoga, who's going to be talking about customer satisfaction in the digital age. Please give him a round of applause as it comes up. I think this might be easier.
Ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. As I've been introduced, my name is Lawrence Mutoga. For those of you who were here yesterday, it was a pleasure. And today I want us to talk a bit deeper about the general things we touched on yesterday. And as I did mention, yes, the sessions after lunch are very, very hard. Yes? So while the slides load, and yesterday we touched on some very general things. I just wanted to challenge you yesterday. And today we'll look at the mechanics and some of the tools that you can use to achieve some of these things. And for a quick recap, yesterday we talked about driving digital transformation in business and in government. We talked about having the right ideas and how you can execute those ideas within your organization. We also talked about what key things you should look at in order to be able to drive a digital business. And so, while I wait for those to load. And so some of the very key things were mainly empowering your people, engaging your employees more, driving customer satisfaction, and transforming your products. And today what I wanted us to do is to dive a little deeper into some of those things. And I'm hoping the slides will load in a few minutes, if you're okay with that. Okay. It appears the slides maybe weren't delivered. Should I freestyle this? Should I start singing and dancing? I think I'm an okay dancer, if the DJ can play some music. I'll just go grab the slides. I think they're still stuck in a flash disk somewhere. And I don't know if we should take a quick intermission. Or you'll go grab it for me? Thank you. Okay, so I think this is where we do that thing called audience participation. Yes, we have like 3-4 minutes before those slides come. And I want to challenge, and I want to follow up on my challenge yesterday. So, did anybody have any ideas as to things they could change within their personal lives? Or within their businesses? Anyone? What? We didn't have any ideas. We just went home and slept and came back and were like, I really enjoy everything in my life. Come on, there must be something that bugs you. Nobody? Okay, cool. I'll tell you something that I've picked up in this city, actually. Something that just struck me. Namibia has, or let me just say Windhoek as a city, has a very high number of taxis. It's, for someone who comes from a more bus company area, this place is saturated with taxis. I mean, literally, I walk out onto the street and I can count 5 taxis. I can't do that in Nairobi. In Nairobi, you walk out to the street and you go like, oh, I need to go to the bus stop and go to I need to do that. And what the gentleman from Lenovo has mentioned is something about disruption. And the first thing that actually came to my mind the moment I saw that was, there must be something like Uber in this place for all those taxis to run. And it turns out, apparently there isn't. And so today I want to challenge all the software developers here. Is there something you can do there? Is that a business opportunity you should be looking at? And so that's my challenge to you. I'll be back sometime next year in Namibia, and hopefully by then I'll have something interesting to look at. So yes, the slides are back, finally. I can now remember what I was supposed to talk about. I'll have something to look at. And I think I've lost the pointer. I'm just going to go next. And just some figures and statistics. It has been mentioned that we use our phones a lot, but how many times do you look at a phone in a day? How will you measure that? We can guess a figure. How many times do you take out that phone? I'm pretty sure in the last 5 seconds, at least half of you have looked at your phones. Yep. So we tried and did some figures and some averages. We found that on a normal working day where you're busy, you're not seated in an audience like this, you're maybe typing at your computer, you look at your phone around 150 times on average. 150. And these are old statistics. This is 2 years ago. Another fun fact we found out is we expect 11 billion mobile devices in the next 3 years. What does that mean? That means we'll have more devices than there are human beings on the planet. And in fact, we are already hitting that target. We're actually about to blow it sky high. And so that is changing. But however, the thing that actually blows my mind is the amount of digital content that we are going to create. 35 zettabytes. Now, who here can guess what a zettabyte is in terms of size? 1,000 terabytes is a petabyte. Let's take it farther, and farther, and farther. If I'm to put it to base 10, it's base 10 to the power 21 bytes. So you are literally talking about huge amounts of data being amassed day by day, second by second. And this is global statistics. Let's bring it down. Let's bring it down to ourselves as people and as human beings and as business. The thing is, and this holds very true, is we are changing. Everything is changing around us. We've talked about how smartphones have changed the way we work. We've talked about how change is basically, well, what can I say? I can say today is a snapshot of the world while it is in a state of flux. Things will change today, things will change tomorrow. And this does bring up certain challenges. And so today I'm going to talk more about something specific. Today I won't be as general as I was yesterday. Today I am going to talk about Microsoft Dynamics. And in the world of business, Microsoft asked itself one very key question. How do we tackle the challenges that are presented to us as Microsoft and to you as a business or as a government? And the answer was very simple. It was Microsoft Dynamics. And it takes charge, or it looks at the following very key areas. One is mobility. Now more than ever, the world is mobile. Everybody is on the go. People are working here, working there. People are working from home, and I really liked that question, who's working from home? And you have to be able to have anywhere access. Can people access that data from anywhere? And even while they access it, is it secure? And these are questions that have just been asked. Is it also easy to administer that? And last but not least, I'm pretty sure you've all heard of bring your own device, BYOD. And how many of us here take our phones and use them for work applications? Come on, if you're using email on your phone, is anybody here using their work email on your phone? Your personal phone? If the answer is yes, then technically you've brought your own device to work. How is it being secured? How is the work environment being protected? Second is social media. And social media is one of those things that I really touched on yesterday, and I won't go into it today, but are you able to draw analytics from it? And third and very key is platform. what is all this running on? It's not seated somewhere and simply someone else is managing it and things like that. How is that being run? How is the performance? And last but not least is, and this is very important to us, is cloud. And cloud is a revolution that's taking place slowly. Some of us are ready for it, some of us aren't. And the beautiful thing is at Microsoft, we are flexible. If you say, I'm not interested in the cloud today, we are like, okay, let's stand with you where you are. If you say, I am cloud ready and I am jumping in, we say, yes, let's go to the cloud. And also, if you say, I'm half in, half out, I want my data in my house, but I also want to enjoy some computational power of the cloud, well, guess what? We do support hybrid scenarios. And so just a quick recap of yesterday is, these are the 4 key things we looked at. And I want to dive into them, and let's dive into the actual meat and bones of today. Intelligent business applications. If I was to split a business into 2 sides, we have 2 key areas. One is, how do you interact with your customers? And 2 is, how do you operate as a business? And Microsoft Dynamics tackles those 2 key areas. How do you interact with your customers? That's your customer relationship management systems. And number 2 is your enterprise resource planning. This is your back-end operations, your finance, your HR, your sales and service, all that kind of operation. How do you manage it? And so what we have today is what we call Microsoft Dynamics 365, which is a full view around all these things. And let's break it down. And I will start, first of all, with enterprise resource planning. And so what I'm going to try and do in the next 10 minutes is try and summarize what is usually a 2 to 3 hour presentation into those 10 minutes. I want to give you an idea of what ERP is and the scale of it and some of the things that you can do. Pick any back-end operation, anything that happens within your organization. How do you manage your people? When somebody walks into your organization, becomes an employee, gets some training, how do you track that? That's one aspect of it. Think about any processes you run, any services you render to customers. How do you manage that? Is it an end-to-end process? And I'll just give you a few scenarios across the board. I can see this isn't very clear, so I'll just hop on to the next one. And these are just a few examples of some of the things that you can do. I hope the laser, yes, it does. Okay, so it doesn't matter which sector you fall under. The platform supports generally across the board. Think about it. If you're at a retail organization, and I'll pick, I saw a supermarket, I've forgotten the name, but think about a supermarket scenario. How do they manage that entire process? Somebody is buying the produce, it's put into an inventory. The inventory, there has to be transportation to the branch, and at the branch, things have to be organized, and when you come in as a customer, you swipe or you pay, and then the money has to track back to the head office. That's retail, right? Think about something as complex as manufacturing. It's all about your back-end processes. Think about something, and I love the HR example because it's something we can all relate to. When you join an organization, how is that information about you stored? And I'm going to flip the coin around to government. How do you keep track of all the people who work for you within your government? How do you keep track of projects? Are you able to manage finances? How do you carry out your budgets? Can you balance the books? And I love that term, balance the books. And as much as you want to come in at the end of the day and say, this is what we have, these are the budgets we've formulated, these are the projects we are tackling. Are you able to carry out simple things, complex tasks across the board? Imagine something as concurrent, or rather as repetitive, as billing, for example. How do you carry it out? Do you have the right tools? And so, as I said, I've tried to summarize a 3-hour presentation into those 5 minutes. I want to give you a general idea of what you can do with an ERP system. An enterprise resource planning system, I'm pretty sure most of you are familiar with it, can handle most of that. But now I want us to think of another challenge. How integrated is it? We've talked about mobility. We've talked about how organizations are spreading. Are you able then to integrate that data across your various offices, across your various branches? Are you able to use mobile phones at work to bind with these very same systems? And this ties back in to the ideas I mentioned yesterday. Are you able then to execute on that? And let's hop over then to our customers, and I'll try and be brief on this. If I was to split any customer engagement into 3 key parts, what will they be? Let's think about it. It would be, 1, how do we give them our services? That's your sales, definitely. 2, how do we make them know about us? That's our marketing, definitely. And last but not least is, if the customer has a problem, how do we sort it out? That's your service. And for each of these, I could go very, very in-depth, but today I'll just touch on them on a very high level. However, the thing is, to a customer, these are not 3 separate processes. Within a business, we'll say, this is our sales division, this is our services division, and this is our marketing guys, and so on and so forth. But let's be honest, to a customer, when I sit in front of my TV and I see, oh, a mobile phone ad, it doesn't click to me that, oh, this is the marketing division doing this. No, it just clicks to me, oh, a mobile phone. I think I should buy myself one. I go to the store, I buy myself a mobile phone. I go back home and maybe I very foolishly drop it somewhere and screen cracks. I pick it up, I take it back, and it gets sorted, and I leave. It's a continuous process of engagement. The cycle never stops. And so if we think about it critically, any customer wants 3 key things. 1, I want personalized service. And I want you to take a very simple example. When you walk into the bank, what feels better? Being called, excuse me, sir, or being told, hi, Lawrence, or hi, so-and-so, if they know your name. It feels really nice if someone knows your name and communicates to you with that. That's personalized service at a very human level. Now imagine personalized service on a technical level. An SMS from your network operator telling you, happy birthday. Feels really nice, especially if it's terrible if nobody else told you happy birthday that day, and you've just woken up and the first person to tell you happy birthday is your network operator. You're like, oh, yeah, it's my birthday. Why is nobody texting me? It happened to me once anyway. 2 is you have to be proactive. Think about it. If you have the right information about your customers, that means you can possibly tell what's going to happen next. And I'm looking for a recent example, and unfortunately the only recent example that has popped to my mind is the Note 7 and the recall. But think about it. 1, 2 incidents happen, and what does the company do? It gears up and does a recall. That is a proper response. Now, let's think about it from a business perspective, whereby, Samsung is a global company. Sometimes manufacturing errors happen. But let's say in the service industry, and you notice a new trend has come up. And I'll use a fashion example. Maybe men have finally decided to start wearing these very short-legged trousers. And you see, that's the thing, I don't know. Will it ever happen? I'm terrible with fashion these days. And so you want to keep up with the trend. You have to change the way your business works. And so you use that information to become proactive, increase your sales. If you think about it from a financial perspective as a bank, what are people moving towards? And I'll use a Kenyan example. People moved towards mobile money. What did the banks do? They had a choice. Sit back and watch all the telcos take the money, or change their business. And what did they do? They changed. And now mobile money is part of the way it works. Think about it from a government perspective. If you can listen to social media and find out, we are receiving a lot of complaints from this area about water. What can we do about that? Can we sort that out? Can we solve it? And guess what? You can be proactive and fix it. And last but not least is predictivity. Can you predict what's going to happen? If you have the right information, can you say in the next 5, in the next 6, this is what we expect? And if you can use that, then you can make the right kind of decisions. And so this is our new take on customer engagement, which is about marketing smarter, selling more effectively, and providing service everywhere. I won't dive deep into most of these segments, but I just wanted to give you a general idea of some of the things you can do. Especially if you're coming from the private sector and some of these do click with you, I just want to give you a general idea of what should you look at. If you're thinking about marketing, what does marketing come down to? Being able to reach people better, being able to target your audience, and also at the end of the day, being able to draw analytics from that. If you're talking about sales, you need to be able to zero in. How do you identify the right client? And if you're in government, how do you identify the right people with a problem? Are you able to use the existing data to go in and say, this is what we need to fix, this is where we need to deliver better services? And last but not least is service. And service is very key because if you look at it from all sides of business, how you react to a person's problem is what the entire relationship is defined on. Think about it. Let's take a quick example. You call your bank. Let's say your credit card disappeared while you were traveling and somebody has been using it to buy very interesting things online. If this has never happened to you, be very grateful. It can be a very shocking experience going through your bank account and seeing minus X amount of dollars, minus Y amount of dollars. Okay, we've hit the zero limit. What's happening? You panic, right? Your money is slowly disappearing from your bank account. And so you call up your bank and they say, hi, Lawrence, what's the problem? And I tell them, somebody appears to be using my credit card, despite the fact that I have it in my pocket. And the guy goes like, okay, I'm sorry we can't access your account, blah, blah, blah. Kindly try calling us in a few. What happens at that point with that relationship? It's completely broken. Why? I'm being affected personally. The person isn't reacting to sort my problem. I am suffering. However, imagine if at that point, before I even start calling, I receive a call from my bank telling me, hello, we found some very interesting figures on your account. Could you please verify that this is you? Immediately, we've moved from a reactive kind of engagement to a proactive engagement. Why? Because they have the right tools to engage me on that. They can see, oh, this is weird. From his trend, this kind of spending is not within what he does. And so the entire conversation changes. And I use the bank account because, believe you me, we all love our money, and it would really, really hurt if somebody hit us there. And that has happened to me, and so that is from personal experience. And the good thing is the bank actually called me and told me, hey, something weird is happening with your accounts. Kindly verify. And I checked, and I saw apparently some guy had my credit card number, and they were very busy buying some Russian stuff on some Russian site. Very, very weird things. I won't get into it, but it was quite the experience. Number two is empowering your agents. And for empowering your agents, I want us to think about every service provider. From the guy who sits in front of you when you go to pay your electricity bill, your water bill, to somebody who sits behind a desk taking a call. How well do they know their problems? How well do they know, not just their problems, how well do they know what to expect? If I was to clarify that a bit, I'd look at it this way. When you call somebody to sort out your problem, and I'll use the bank example because I believe we've all called our banks, he cannot possibly know the fix to every single problem you might have, right? He cannot. But he can have a knowledge base. He can have a way of looking up and saying, oh, this is what I should do. He can have a way of saying, this is what I should be. These are my next steps. And if you're talking about it from a service delivery perspective, if someone calls in with a problem or a report, how easy is it to react? How easy is it to say, these are my next best actions? Do you have the right tools to define that? And last but not least, of course, is agility. How quickly do you react to a problem? How fast can you say, this is the problem right now, these are the steps we need to take? Can you be proactive and predictive on that? And so you have quite a number of tools that you can use there. Last but not least, I can see we're running out of time, is social media. And social media, there are three key things. I have talked a lot about listening to social media, and I'm pretty sure the benefits of that are pretty clear to us. But I want us to think about a second part of it, driving engagement. Listening to social media is okay. It's fine. We can do that. We can hire 15 people to sit in front of computers and tell me, are people happy or are people not happy? Or I can simply use a tool to look and analyze the sentences people use, and it will tell me these people are happy or these people aren't happy. Or I can go a step further, and I can decide to drive engagement based on that. Think about it. Somebody posts something on social media saying, this product just exploded in my pocket. What are the next steps? Will we simply sit down and go like, oh, maybe he's just, yeah, no, just forget it, no. Let's take it a step further. You receive that report on your tools, Microsoft Social Engagement, and you decide, hey, I need to respond to this. I need to find out more. And so you as the company reply to the person. I'll give you another example. I don't know whether blackouts are common here. They're very common in Nairobi. Once in a while, you're told this area will not receive a blackout or this area will receive a blackout. It does happen. But I want you to just for a second imagine you're driving, you've just gotten home, and then either the electric power line has cut or maybe there was a storm and something went down. And so you take out your phone and you tweet or you put it on Facebook or you hashtag your power company and tell them, hey, this line at this place just went down. And you forget about it generally. Now imagine if 5 seconds or even within a minute later, you receive a reply on that message telling you, hi, we've received your complaint, we're sending someone to look at it. And now imagine within 30 minutes, a team arrives out there, sorts out the problem, fixes it, and replies back to you telling you, guess what? You're sorted, your power is back. How does that make you feel? It makes you feel pretty good. You're being listened to as a client. And that is the essence of customer engagement. Any customer engagement, whether be it from a business, whether be it at government level, is about making people feel good, making people feel listened to. And with the tools that we have at Microsoft and with the partnership we have with Green Technologies, we enable you to do that. Thank you very much, and I'll stop there.
Thank you very much, sir, for that very in-depth approach and analysis of how to approach customer services in the digital age. Our next speech, which is going to be our last speech, keynote address of the day, is going to be coming from AVM. Mr. Klaus von Kries, I hope I pronounced that fantastic. He's going to be speaking about complete home networking. Please help me welcome him onto the stage.
Thank you. Is there a remote control somewhere? Yes. Fantastic. Next to Mac. Okay. Good afternoon. I'm Klaus von Kries from AVM. We are the manufacturer of the Fritzbox, which we're delivering to Telecom Namibia, and I just wanted to give you some more insights of the products. The Fritzbox has been deployed to Namibia for many, many years, like at least 7, and still a lot of people are not aware of what you're actually capable to do with that. So what I'm going to do is give you an outlook, like what kind of new products we have in the portfolio. And the most important thing is the new software that we're deploying. So a lot of the Fritz boxes that are in the field can be updated. You have new functionalities, much more control, and you can interconnect everything with the Fritz box. Just a few words on us. AVM has been founded in 1986. We had a turnover of 400 million last year. We're about 560 people. We're still privately held. And we're very traditional from the position of the company, meaning everything we do develop in Germany, and we still produce the product in Germany. The reason why we do that is we want to create a long-term value. So that does not mean we hit and run. So very often you get devices which are just sold and then nothing changes. You want new features, you buy a new product. With us, it's a bit different. We try to get feedback from you guys and from all our customers all around the world, and they do that. And then we're trying to improve the firmware, and then add the most requested features free of charge. For us, it's a triple win situation. The telecoms, our customers all around the world are happy to have these new features because they can market them. The end consumers are happy about that because they don't need to buy a new device. We're happy because we get, through your feedback, a more competitive device. So what we try to do is to get you an interface that once you have ever had a Fritzbox in your hand, that you can handle any AVM device. This is vitally important to us. We don't want this to be a techie device which only technicians can handle. Our aim is that everyone is getting involved with it. So this is just a rough timeline of what we've been doing. So since 2004, we're introducing voice over IP products. Very shortly after, Telecom Namibia already had the 7170. That's 7 years ago. 2 years ago, we have deployed the last firmware update for that. So that is rare in the ICT market. Very often, after 1 year or 2 years, you would throw it away and then exchange it with something else. Meanwhile, we're not just doing DSL products, we're doing optical products, we're doing cable products, and LTE routers. But every time there's the FritzOS behind. So that means no matter what kind of device you have the FritzOS, it has the same look and feel, same functionality, just different access technologies. And then we're bringing out laboratory versions. So we're testing out the new device, the new software. So people who are technically interested, they can try it out, give us feedback, and when we have the feeling this is looking good, it's stable, then we launch the new firmware. This is just what happened recently. We're also having new devices which are now going to 4x4 market, wireless market. So that means you have multi-user MIMO. What does this mean? The multi-user MIMO is good for giving you a better wireless connection. Normally, you would have, like, let's say you have 3 wireless devices, they get equal shares of that bandwidth. So it doesn't even matter if that separate device is only using 50 megs, and the other one is using 100 megs, and the other one is using 150 megs. They all get equal shares, though they cannot take advantage of that. Now with the multi-user MIMO, that's different. So if you have a device which doesn't have a high Wi-Fi performance, it will get just as much as it can handle. And the rest is saved for the others. So you'll have a much better overall performance. And you're getting also a further reach out. So if you know, the 7390 is a product which is well known in Namibia, and you see you have a dramatic increasement in the reach out of Wi-Fi signals. And therefore, you're also getting a much better payload over each antenna signal in here covered. Another thing is how to keep innovation in the country. This is something we're having. I can give you an example from Germany that we're having. So DSL is a big thing there. You're having a lot of DSL coverage as well, and it's a wonderful way to get fiber into the market because it's a hybrid solution. So that means by getting the cabinets out of the central office, getting it to the streets and closer to the houses, you're shortening the distance of the copper lines. That also means that you don't need to do the investment having the optical cables straight through forward to the house at once, which is very, very expensive. We don't do that. We in Germany wouldn't be able to afford that. And we have about 35 million internet connections in Germany, broadband. And therefore, DSL is the perfect way to improve that. There are things like super vectoring. Vectoring is a technology which harmonizes the copper wiring, the frequencies between the copper wiring. And because of that, you have a higher performance in speed. So that means you're having maybe with VDSL now 50 megabits per second. With vectoring, you can have 100 megabits per second. Then there's a thing called super vectoring. And with that, you can even gain transfer rates up to 300 megs per second. Is this the end? No, it's not. If you're getting closer, you're actually having the possibility with G.fast, which is going up to 106 megahertz, and you can have transfer rates over up to 1 gigabyte per second over 2 copper pairs. So this is something which is quite unique, and we're having the fitting products for that already available. And so there is still a lot of future with the DSL in order to get to an optical network throughout the country. The most important thing in this presentation, which I want to show you, is the new operating system. Because the Fritz OS is something you already have in all your Fritz boxes at home, and now you can update them. This means you'll have a much better usability. That means all the interfaces are now automatically scaling up to the resolution of the screen that is available. So if you're having a tablet, it will do that. If you have a smartphone, it will do that as well. You don't have to zoom in and out anymore. It will correspond automatically according to the resolution that you have available. Through that, we also have new functionality inside. So, for instance, the vast majority is having a Fritz box, but they're not aware of what you can actually do with that. And it's really a multi-user, a multifunctional device. It's really essential for that. So, for instance, you have a Wi-Fi at home, but you're also having now a guest hotspot at home. You just need to activate it. You just log in, and then you're having a different DCB range. That means these networks are cleanly separated, and they have different firewall settings. If someone is coming to your home, they won't see your local network, and they can't intrude with viruses, etc. They're cleanly separated. And then you can also say different firewall settings. For instance, you can say only mail surfing and maybe mail checking and internet surfing is available, but you can't do BitTorrent downloading, etc., jamming all your internet access. So these kind of things you can do, but you can also combine that. For instance, let's say you have a business, you have a lodge, you have a cafe, a restaurant, whatsoever. Then you can use the Fritzbox as well, and you can even send them to a landing page so that you can say, all right, you first have to confirm with the terms of use that you don't do any criminal activity, and then later on you're landing at the page of the cafe where are specials maybe for happy hour, for special drinks, or you are in a lodge, and then your announcement, your game tours, whatsoever. That all you can do with the Fritzbox. But most people are not aware of that. So I'm telling you, try it out. But the thing is, get curious what you can do with the Fritzbox. We have a knowledge base, so you can actually check how to set these kind of things up. They're on our page, they're on Telecom Namibia's page, and then you can just download this step-by-step guide, and then you know how to set it up. Because, as I said before, we're aiming to you people. You don't need to be a technician, you don't need to be a specialist, you just follow these step-by-step guides, and then they can do that. And then you have your instant success. What else can we do? We have a parental control inside now. So that means we're having a firewall where you can say, like, every child is having now multiple IP devices. That's a fact. They're having a cell phone, they're having a tablet, maybe a notebook or a PC, and maybe a PlayStation, whatsoever. And they're all working over IP. Now you want to get control over your child's internet usage. You can do that with the Fritzbox. You can set up a group, like I have 2 teenage children, so I know what I'm talking about. And I'm setting up a profile for my daughter and for my son, both have several devices. And then I can say, within this time frame, I can use the internet. But only for a total amount of 2 hours. And if the time is used up, then you can give out a ticket. Because the classic thing then happens, oh, I'm sorry, I've still got some homework to do, and therefore I need to do some research on the internet, so you need to turn on the internet. And then you go like, yeah, no problem, there's a ticket. You give them the ticket number, and then they have 45 minutes extra to do their homework, and then it turns off automatically. So you don't have to look after that. It will do that for you. So these kind of things make things very easily, and then you can really fine-tune the profile. You can have a whitelist, which means internet is okay except these sites, or you can have a blacklist if they're not performing in school, which means internet is not okay except these sites, so only maybe the school page or Wikipedia will be okay, so everything educational is fine, everything else is not. You can also say, I'm going to block specific applications. We have already predefined a couple of things like BitTorrent, etc. So that you can block as well. And you can add your own stuff on that. You can also manage how is going to be my performance. Is my device going to be faster than the children's ones? Yes, you can do that. So all these kind of things can be adjusted within the Fritzbox to have a fine-tuned match. You also have a communication central there. You have a telephony PBX in there. So meaning, with the telephones, even with your smartphones, we have countless not countless, but 5, 6 free apps which you can download for Android and iPhone and take the Fritzbox to the next level. So let me push forward to give you a better idea. So these apps on the left, you have, for instance, you can turn your Android phone into an IP telephone. So you can actually receive calls for your fixed line over your cell phone. You can even, then we have a cloud service. You just heard of a nice speech before about cloud service. The Fritzbox is supplying that for you too. So we have a cloud service called MyFritz. This MyFritz is making your Fritzbox available wherever you are. So you can set up, for instance, a VPN tunnel between your mobile telephone and your Fritzbox. What do you need that for? Would be the next key question. Well, just consider this. Go to a foreign country. You're paying roaming charges, which is expensive. You would like to save these kind of costs. Well, then you just log into your hotspot of your local hotel, establish the VPN tunnel, and your IP telephony app will automatically register against your Fritzbox, which is here. And now from that moment on, you can have calls to Namibia without any extra charges. You don't pay any roaming charges. And you can receive even calls. So people will call you and you will pick it up in South Africa. And they go, I thought you're in South Africa. Yes, I am. Because you had your VPN tunnel. So these kind of things you can do, you were not aware of, but you can actually do that since years. So again, get curious what you can do with that. It's not hard to configure, it's really easy. And we have a lot of YouTube tutorials with that as well. These kind of things you can do even more. We have smart home plugs at the telecom shops. With these, you can remote control your home environment. You can turn on and off lamps, other electric devices. Consider this, you're having in Swakop, your weekend house, you just want to go there, it's cold because it's winter, and you want to turn on the heater. Then you can do that over the MyFritz Cloud again. Over the MyFritz Cloud, you get the remote access. With the MyFritz app, you turn things on and off. And you can even measure the electricity. So you're finding out which are the devices which are consuming too much electricity as well. You can assign time profiles. So for the time being, you're leaving Windhoek. Then you can even assign different lamps which will randomly turn on and off on in a specific time frame. So people who will bypassing your house will have the feeling, oh, there's still somebody living in, I'm not breaking in, you know, kind of this. You can even make noise like with the radio, you know, so if they hear noise from the radio, yeah, obviously somebody must be living there. So these kind of things you can do as well. And then we have different boxes in that respect and additional gear which is coming surrounding them. I'm just going to introduce a few of them. 7580 is a new device which is not yet available, but this one would be like a successor to your top device like this 7490, which is having 4x4 MIMO. It's a classic B2B router where you have ISDN, 2FXS, 10 IP telephones, 20 SIP numbers, 5 simultaneous calls together. Very nice device. This is your current model, which is still top of the league. With this, you can do best B2B solution currently available. I would say it's the best device which is currently available on the African market. We have that in many scenarios. You can set up to 8 VPN tunnels from, like, if you have branch offices, like supermarkets, etc. They can all interconnect with that and exchange information. So also security agencies, gas stations, whatnot, that would be the perfect device to interconnect everything over VPN and then have free of charge telephony between them. 7430 is the replacement of the 7330, which was the most sold device in Namibia. And this is the new device, which is same price. It's available now at Telecom Namibia and is basically same price but more features. So the old device was only doing ADSL. This one is doing VDSL as well. You have 450 Wi-Fi instead of 300, so you have a much faster Wi-Fi. And you have a port switch instead of 2. So by the end of the day, a much more complete device in respect to the old one for the same price. And then we have LTE devices. We have 2 of them, and one of them is already in the market, which is 6840. This is a telephony device as well, so you can actually also have 4 different calls at a time with this device over voice over LTE. This is the reason why it doesn't support 3G and 2G, because over these kind of networks, it wouldn't be able to do that, and then your telephony would be disconnected. So this is only in cases interesting where you say, I need the telephony, and therefore I need the LTE. But if you don't, then this is the right device, which is just about to hit the Namibian market. I would say it's available roughly in 4 weeks. And this one is supporting 150 megs in download. We've been testing it here. Actually, I tried to do a live demo, but we had some issue with the screen. But even in here, we're having a performance of 100 megs in download and 50 megs in upload without external antennas. So it's extremely sensitive. It's working very, very well. And you can take it anywhere. So it will work with 4G, with 3G, and 2G, and is a power horse. So you can still have your guest access, as I was telling you before. It will still have the VPN tunnels, as I was telling you. It would still have the child protection, as I was telling you before. It's all the same because it's all a Fritz OS. So it doesn't matter what kind of device you're actually having. They're having the same Fritz OS, and I can only urge you to make an update. Then we have a 5490, which is an active Ethernet device, like the 7490, excellent for B2B business and gigabit routing. With these phones, you can make your box, especially in a B2B environment, more complete, but it's also a remote control. So that means you have your personalized phone. These phones are not just doing telephony, and why would you have these kinds of phones if you have a smartphone, right? That would be the key question. Well, they don't fry your ears. If you have an hour conversation on your cell phone, it's not fun. You're switching ears all the time because they're getting fried, right? So with this won't happen. And they have a standby time of 12 days. So much better battery performance. What else can you do with that? You can actually turn on and off devices in the smart home environment connected to your Fritzbox. You have internet radio inside. You have alarm clocks inside. You can actually turn it into an internet radio alarm clock, so choosing your favorite radio station to get woken up with. You can use it as a baby phone. You can use it for three-party conference calls, and you can even record conversations. You can switch transfer calls. You can remote configure your answering machines. You can configure call forwarding rules. This is you can check your emails, you can check podcasts, you can check RSS feeds. This is what you can do with that phone. You can even handle media. You can take, the Fritzbox is also a media server. If you connect a mass storage device to your Fritzbox, then you can actually take your favorite MP3s, your favorite movies, and assign it to a Samsung TV, which has the DLNA client inside. And there's zero configuration to be done to that. All you do is have a direct connection over IP. Could be over Ethernet, over Wi-Fi. That's it. Then the TV will automatically recognize the Fritzbox as the media server, and you can take advantage of that. And so we have different devices. It's just a matter of taste. They are entirely identical in functionality and getting updated on a regular basis. And just to give you another example, we just integrated an IP doorbell. So if somebody is pressing the button, we're having that over there at the booth, then the IP camera is capturing the image. You'll see it on the telephone. You can talk to the person over the intercom and open the door. So that works with various manufacturers. And that's just through the firmware update where you're getting more value to the Fritzbox again. Then we have DECT repeaters to extend the signals and the Wi-Fi signals as well. So we have a lot of devices surrounding that. And what's nice is these devices are getting updated as well. Now the problem is, if you log into every separate device, it's kind of a hiccup. Logging in, checking for a new firmware update, etc. No more necessary. We have a new networking page where all AVM products are shown up with the current firmware. And if it's not, it's telling you. And then you just do one click and it will update for you. So you don't have to log in. It will do that for you. You can even now say, whenever there's a crucial update, please update automatically. Don't even bother me. The Fritzbox will do that as well. We have power line adapters as well. So as soon as the reach out for the Fritzbox is over Wi-Fi not good enough, Plan B is using power lines. There are older generations which are currently here in use with 500 megs per second. You need to be on the same phase in order to take advantage. And then you just use the Ethernet connection over the electric wiring and then break out with Wi-Fi. With this one, it will work on different phases. So this would be ideal for lodges where you have a guest house and then distribute then the guest network through the power line. The smart home devices, they're also getting updated on a regular basis. So now there is also a functionality where you just acoustically clap and then things will be turned on and off because there's a little microphone built inside. A second thing you can do with that is actually now set a threshold. So for instance, like the heating problem I was telling you about. You can turn this on, there's a temperature sensor, and then you can say, okay, when you hit like 22, 24 degrees, whatever is your comfort zone, then turn off the device by default. And as soon as you reach a certain threshold, then heat it up. So that's also something how we're servicing accessories around that. And this is then how it would look like if you can access the Fritzbox from remote. On the left corner, you see the calls which have been done. You can check the answering machine messages, everything from remote. You can check your smart home devices, so you can turn things on and off, even if you're in a different country, doesn't matter. And you can also gain access to all the files stored on that mass storage device attached to the Fritzbox. And you can make the Fritzbox more complete with these kind of accessories. These are free to download, so I can really recommend you to do that. And then you bring your Fritzbox to a next level. So with the MyFritz application, you gain access from remote wherever you are. I can turn things on and off at home in Berlin, Germany, from here. It's not a problem. You just use the traffic that you have locally. You can also use the Fritz app phone for having an IP connection, but you can also go to remote, and then, as I told you, over the VPN tunnel, you can have free roaming codes at home and to a further destination as well. This works quite well also, like if you have two Fritz boxes connected with a VPN tunnel, and then you just switch with your cell phone between those, just have the Wi-Fi on, it will automatically register against the other Fritz box, and because you have a VPN tunnel, it will automatically register for your home phone again, so you're available again. And so there's a lot of flexibility in here. We have the Fritz app media. This will remote control the media server in the Fritz box. So that's audio, video, pictures, and whatnot. So you can assign audio to an IP stereo, like an IP receiver, which are getting more and more popular. You can also take videos and assign it to your Samsung TV, where there's a DLNA client. But you can also play it locally on your tablet or on your cell phone. So there you have the remote control, and it will not only work with the Fritzbox. If you have a third-party media server over IP connected to the Fritzbox, it will recognize that, and you can take advantage of that. It interconnects seamlessly. That's the nice thing about that. And then we have Fritz app Wi-Fi. This is the ideal tool, first of all, to connect to different Fritzboxes or hotspots, but it will also give you a troubleshooting tool how to set up your Fritzbox. How many people are complaining like, my Wi-Fi reach out is not good enough for that? Well, because they haven't positioned it very often just right. I've been doing a roadshow last year, and I've seen really interesting things where they were setting up the Fritzbox, like in the lowest corner, next to a fridge, and then after that there was a big safe. It's a good way to block a signal, you know? And all you had to do is lift up the Fritzbox, and then you had a much better Wi-Fi coverage. How do you find out if you have good Wi-Fi coverage? You connect to the Fritzbox, and then there's a tool which is checking the data transmission rate. And you just walk your environment and then see where's good coverage, where's not. And if you need a repeater, then you know exactly where to place one. But very often it's just good enough to reposition the Fritzbox. With that free tool, you can find out very, very easily. And then my last slide is my upcycling app for old telephones. I mean, whenever you have a new upgrade, I'm guessing like every 2-3 years you're getting a new cell phone. Is that about right? Roughly. So what do you do with the old telephone? Now here's a good way to have extra use with that, and also encourage you to try out new technology again. So this is about surveillance, so you can put it in a docking station, let's say in the living room, and then you can monitor your home environment from remote, outside your home environment, over the MyFritz again. So that means you can check now what's happening at home. You're getting an audio and video live feed what's happening. So you can check if the children are maybe doing their homework and not just watching TV, or if the cleaning lady is actually cleaning instead of watching TV, whatnot. You know, sky's the limit in that respect. And it's just a good idea. And then later on, if you say, okay, this kind of technology I'm getting now more comfortable to deal with, then I can actually go for a professional solution, which is maybe more advanced. But the idea is, with the Fritzbox, you can have a media server. If you want something more professional, that's possible. But now you can try, and you don't need to pay any extra. It's there. It's just waiting for you to use it. The same with a smart home. A smart home solution, an expensive, an entry-level smart home solution is about $1,000 US. That's money. And you're not sure if you really keen on trying that out, or if you're really able to handle that, etc. If you want to get more mature with that, try it out with the Fritzbox. It's there. You know, it's a little investment. Same with the VPN, same with the surveillance. So try it out. There's a lot to try out with the Fritzbox, and it's just waiting for you to get curious. Thank you very much. Cheers.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Mr. Von Kries, for telling us what we can actually do with our Fritzboxes. I wasn't aware. When I go home, I'll be looking at my Wi-Fi a little different, and it's all about levels. Right. Okay, the questionnaires have been handed in, and as promised, we will be giving out prizes. Fortunately, I shall not be doing this alone. If I could please invite Ms. Eva from the Ministry and Ms. Linda Ipinge to give out the prizes, and I assume I'll be reading the prize winners. All right, thank you. For those of us who haven't written an exam in a while, this might be a little bit tense. All right, so this is just a taste of what you can get. Tomorrow we will be having a much bigger draw, so please make sure you come. And as a reminder, tomorrow we'll be having the youth showcasing their innovations. I mean, some of the stuff I've heard is mind-blowing, like solar water supply and other words I can't quite put together, but it certainly sounds like innovation and progress for Namibians all around the country. So please make sure you do come through tomorrow and find out what your youth are doing to contribute to the ICT industry. All right, so the first winner, my apologies in advance if I don't pronounce your name correctly. If she's here, Miss Taimi Shanika. Is Miss Taimi Shanika here? She looks a little different. No, she's not here. Oh dear, so we move on to the next one. Yes, that's exactly. It pays to pay attention, doesn't it? Right. Miss Victoria Munenge. Victoria Munenge? No? Yikes. All right. Wow. It seems the ladies are the ones who are really paying attention. Miss Pauline Nugulu. I hope I said that correctly. Oh, there we go. Brilliant. Congratulations. Congratulations. So we have our first winner already. And wow, I am really going to try my best to say the surname without any errors. Miss Dorothea. Brilliant. Thank you. Thank you. Teamwork. Yes. The Honorable Steve Bezenhut, is he? Bezenhut, sorry, my apologies. He's not here right now. Elise Hangome. There we go, brilliant. So far we have how many winners? 3 winners, so we have 1 left. 2 left. Oh, brilliant. Oh, just the top one. All right, Mr. Baheru Zayenu. Zayenu, did I say that correct? Not here? Mr. Baheru Zayenu, there he is, there he is. He just entered in the nick of time. Oh, brilliant. Yes, the company is Africom Technologies. Thanks. And our last winner is Miss Bernadine Munyamba. Is Miss Bernadine Munyamba here? Oh dear. Oh, that's unfortunate. So the prize stays, and it waits for another winner. I feel like I'm doing the lottery. All right. Mr. Oscar Kanime. Is Mr. Oscar Kanime here? Oh, it's not you. All right. Okay. All right. All right. Thank you. Mr. Matthias Kanenguni. Matthias Kanenguni. Oh, the gentlemen seem to have. I'm just going to double check before I read this name. Are you by any chance Mr. Matthias Kanenguni? Oscar? What? Oh. Oh, okay. No, unfortunately, we have to move on to the next. Christian Kasinga. There we go. It's our final winner. All right. He's from Rundu Town Council. Did I say that correct? Yes. Yes. Oh, he's our overall winner. All right. And he's just received a 4G device. And he says it's what he wanted. Oh, brilliant. Congratulations. All right. Okay. Yes. Mm-hmm. Tomorrow. Oh. Okay. All right. So make sure you come tomorrow, because tomorrow's grand prize is going to be a Corbett 5 certification. Training. Sorry? Fully paid training. So it won't just be a summit for you. It could possibly become a career path and a lifestyle. So please make sure that you are here tomorrow and keep your fingers crossed and pay attention, most importantly. I believe that's all for our prize winners. If you could please help me welcome to give the closing remarks for the day, the lady who has been at the forefront of putting this all together, Ms. Linda Ipinge, who's the Director of Information and Communication Technology Development at the Ministry.
Yes. I'm welcoming myself. Yes, good afternoon. Yes, Honorable, you just missed the session and your colleague almost won, but he didn't make it. Where is Honorable Representative in Parliament? Oh, he missed out. His name was called for a prize, but it's okay. Tomorrow there will be another opportunity. Yes, the Honorable Shacher, who is a Deputy Chairperson of the Parliamentary Standing Committee on ICT. Thank you so much for joining us as we're just closing off. We thank you so much for having been with us from yesterday and today. We recognize your busy schedule, but we appreciate that you have taken our time to be here with us, and also to your colleague, Honorable Bezettenhout in absentia. We'd like to thank him really for taking time to be here. We need that wisdom. And tomorrow's program would commence with the Honorable Jaher, I hope I'm saying it right, who will be doing the opening ceremony for the youth tomorrow. So be here. We're also expecting Honorable Bezettenhout. He's very passionate about the youth. He will be doing the closing ceremony. So tomorrow's program is packed. I think what you have seen is the introduction. We have unpacked. Tomorrow you will get to know who are the innovators. So at this moment, I really want to thank you all for coming. This is not the end of the program or the summit. The summit ends tomorrow. So, but I just really wanted to take time and thank you all for being here today. It's such a smaller number, but it means much to us. You've been here from the beginning until this last minute. So thank you so much for coming. We're looking forward to seeing you tomorrow. Please be here. Like it was mentioned, we have greater prizes to be won. Maybe that's not enough. Also, just to listen to the youth. We have a lineup of the youth. I think tomorrow you will get an opportunity to acknowledge what our youth, the young people, are up to when it comes to ICT. So many innovations, the ideas. You would see what they will be displaying. It will be all about them. So please be here tomorrow. Just to tap in the wisdom of the young people. I think it's necessary also. They might be young, but I mean they are the wizards. So thank you very much. See you then tomorrow. We're starting at, I think from 8:30 we should be able to start, because we normally wait for the presenters to bring their presentations before we can start, so we don't interrupt our broadcast or live streaming or the proceedings. Ashwin, you've been a great presenter. Thank you so much. I think most of you got a chance to see Ashwin on live. Most of you have seen him on national television. I think I've seen him a couple of times. So he's been a great MC for the day. So thank you so much. We appreciate really that you have to guide us. Tomorrow on the lineup, I think most of you also watch the youthful program, Watagwan, normally in the afternoon, or maybe most of you are at work, but I think your teenage children would be talking about that. We have Paul Munanjala, who is the presenter. He will be taking us through, he will be the MC for tomorrow. Just by looking at the program that he presents on television, we thought he should just take the youth through the program. So thank you so much. I will see you all tomorrow. Have a pleasant evening. All right.